You are now in the deep end of horror.
And I will see the life run out of you.
I'm Vincent Price, and you're invited to my party in the house on Haunted Hill, where so far the ghosts have murdered only 7 people. So won't you come and make it 8?
Hello, my children of the popcorn, and today we're here to talk about cooking. Well, no, we're actually talking about Vincent Price today. And I thought I would bust out some of my Vincent Price movies. First off, he's Egghead in the Batman TV series, which is a lot of fun. But if you're a Vincent Price fan, you've got to have the Scream Factory Vincent Price collection. Obviously not Volume 1. It's out of print, goes for ridiculous money. You can pick up most of the movies that are on the first collection, which is the best collection. But you can pick up most of the movies fairly cheaply from Australia, and I think Britain has most of them as well, still in print. The Scream Factory Volume 1 has The Pit and the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death, The Haunted Palace, The Fall of the House of Usher, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, and Witchfinder General. So 6 of Vincent Price's best films. Not a loser in the bunch. Although I would have replaced maybe Witchfinder General with the second Dr. Phibes, but so that people could have the Dr. Phibes set together. Scream Factory's Vincent Price Volume 2 is The Raven and the Comedy of Terrors, his 2 comedies for Roger Corman, The Tomb of Ligeia, The Last Man on Earth, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, The Return of the Fly, and House on Haunted Hill. And and of course they have a booklet with it. And these are excellent versions of all of these films, and again, not really a loser in the bunch. The Return of the Fly is a little bit odd man out, but he does star in it. And I know you can get Last Man on Earth and House on Haunted Hill in public domain copies, but they look really nice on Scream Factory's Blu-ray. And then for Volume 3, strangely, they left out some of Vincent Price's best work. I guess they couldn't get a hold of it. Theater of Blood is one of his best films, and it's era appropriate, but Twilight Time had put it out, so I guess Twilight Time had the rights to that. So they did have to kind of scrape the barrel with this one, with Volume 3. Master of the World, which is not a horror film, but he plays Rober the Conqueror, which is essentially Captain Nemo of the air. It was also written by Jules Verne. And Tower of London, 1962. Diary of a Madman, An Evening of Edgar Allan Poe, and Cry of the Banshee. And Cry of the Banshee is a different film from Witchfinder General, but it's along a similar theme. An Evening of Edgar Allan Poe is actually a TV special, so basically they did the best they could with what was left available to them. Vincent Price is also in the Frankenstein Complete Legacy collection, and the Wolfman one, and the Dracula one, because he has a cameo as the Invisible Man at the very end of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And of course, he is Invisible Man in Invisible Man Returns. In the Fox Horror Classics Volume 2, he's in Dragonwyck, and although he's third billed, he is very important in the film. He's a major character in the film. And of course, Fox Classics Volume 2 has Chandu the Magician, starring Bela Lugosi. And Dr. Renault's secret, and the secret is that he's trying to turn an ape into a man, because at that time they were just fascinated with apes and gorillas. I have this 5 Vincent Price features from Mill Creek, because it's hard to get The Jackals otherwise, which is not a horror feature, and Shock, which is it's a thriller. Those 2 are hard to find other than on this. Of course, before Return of the Fly, there was The Fly, which he is also in. For Tim Burton, of course, he did Edward Scissorhands, one of his last films. His breakout role, 1953's House of Wax in 3D. And the lovely thing about this, besides being a 3D Blu-ray for those of you who have 3D televisions, and for whom 3D works, is that also on the disc you have the 1933 Mystery of the Wax Museum. So you have a free other film. 4-movie collection of classic horror. Only one of these is Vincent Price, and that's The Mad Magician. The Mad Magician is essentially House of Wax. It was the year after, so it's 1954, and it's pretty much beat for beat, very similar to House of Wax, but still very enjoyable because Vincent Price. Theater of Blood, which I really need on Blu-ray because it's one of his absolute best films. If you love Shakespeare, if you like Shakespeare and you like Vincent Price, you'll love Theater of Blood. And Madhouse, Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, and Robert Quarry, is an enjoyable romp. Vincent Price plays an aging horror film actor. Tales of Terror from Roger Corman. War Gods of the Deep, which he essentially plays Captain Nemo in all but name. House of Thousand Dolls, which is a rather freaky film. And also for freaky, there's Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine. And I need to pick up the sequel, Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs, but it's a little pricier to find because although they're very similar films, Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs is directed by Mario Bava. Vincent Price is fabulous in Dead Heat. He's not a starring role, but he has a decent role in it. And Darren McGavin has a great role in it. And I happen to think, I don't generally find Joe Piscopo funny, but I did find Dead Heat quite funny. I picked up this from Intervision, from Severin, Dark Harvest, and Escapes. He's not in Dark Harvest, he's in Escapes. And honestly, I found it pretty much unwatchable. I love Vincent Price, but it was really bad. Twice Told Tales, which is the follow-up to Tales of Terror, only this time they have Nathaniel Hawthorne. They adapted Nathaniel Hawthorne's stories. Still very good. The Monster Club, which is it's okay. It's not a great Vincent Price film, but you gotta catch them all. The Oblong Box, Vincent Price and Christopher Lee acting together. Madhouse, which is in the DVD double pack I showed you. Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, and Robert Quarry. Scream and Scream Again, which is amazing for having Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and Vincent Price in it. Vincent Price is the only one who could be considered to have a starring role here. Christopher Lee has a minor role, and Peter Cushing's is basically just a cameo, so they're not really acting together. They do get to do that in House of Long Shadows, which for some reason is not lying here. And then Shock, apparently I have 2 copies of Shock. And Cha-Cha-Cha! Dun-da-da! House of Long Shadows. Just had to search for it. And those are my Vincent Price movies. Thank you for watching this quick overview. Bye! Click like, subscribe, or even comment below because I want to hear what you think.
No fair.